There you are. I'm glad Alvida wasn't wrong about you. And you're just in time. I'm going to need your help. The Alliance's emissary has decided to support the murder charge against you. For our young captain's sake, I've decided to defend you. I know our laws well, but I'm going to need evidence and witnesses.
The head guard mentioned a witness who alerted them and told them that we attacked those men. We tried to find out who it was, but he wouldn't tell us.
If I was being generous, I'd say it was to protect the witness, but in truth, our dear head guard hates foreigners. He's furious and frustrated that he couldn't put you in jail and had to lock Alvida up instead. If you need to find out more about this witness, and I do agree that it's a very relevant lead, then I'd recommend trying to get him drunk. He can often be found at the tavern, drowning his bitterness in ale.
What other evidence or testimonies should we look for?
Any witnesses who could give a different version of the events would be helpful. I doubt there's much physical evidence to be found, unless it was a setup. And in that case, there were most likely messages sent that you might be able to get your hands on.
Thank you for defending us.
Of course, I don't trust this emissary, and I like Alvida. I'll let you talk to your friend now. But don't forget to come back here once you've gathered enough evidence to exonerate yourselves. Once you've done that, we'll start the trial. See you later, my young friends, and good luck!
How do you feel? Are you all right?
As well as possible locked up in a cell. I can't complain. Since I'm a captain, I'm treated with respect. In any case, it looks like it's my turn to need help getting out of jail.
We found witnesses who saw what happened.
I knew you would.
You were right. But the only person who saw the whole thing told us his testimony would be of no use.
Why? Who is it?
A carpenter. A former shipwright, if he's to be believed.
Don't say another word. I know who you're talking about. Silvio. It really does seem like the odds are stacked against us. I can't believe it. Of all the people in Yuxantis, it had to be this incompetent, murdering fool who witnessed the scene.
What did he do?
It's more a question of what didn't he do. He was a shipwright, like he told you. He was in charge of repairing ships before they set sail. My mother's ship, in particular. But he didn't do his job. Whether out of laziness or negligence. At the very first storm she encountered, the ship sprang a leak and sank. I lost my mother because of him. And now you're telling me he's the only person who can prove our innocence?
I'm afraid so. The Ink Mistress only heard the fight, so her testimony won't help us much.
And that man's won't help us either. Since my mother's death, he was banned from working for the Nauts. Why do you think he became a carpenter? Nobody trusts him anymore.
I understand your concern. And it's true that he's not the best witness we could hope for. But without him, we have nothing. Please, we must let him report what he saw.
Fine. But we better have more evidence, because his word won't carry much weight. Who brought the Alliance men here, and why did they attack us like that?
We'll keep investigating.
Thank you for your help. When you've gathered enough evidence, go find the master of the shipyard. He's offered to defend us.
If the head guard is a drunk, it shouldn't be too hard to find out where the witness is hiding. Let's go to the tavern and buy him a bottle, then he'll sing like a canary.
There's the head guard. I believe the woman from the Alliance, Safia, is over there. Since she's the one who warned us, maybe she can tell us more about the emissary.
You again? This tavern used to be a place you could drink in peace. Even here, these pesky foreigners seem bent on stirring up trouble.
Look, I understand that your duty sometimes requires you to do things you don't approve of. Locking up Captain Alvidar over a fight between foreigners, it's infuriating.
Absolutely. You're the ones who should be in jail.
Perhaps. But if we're to defend our friend properly, we need to know everything. We need to be able to question all the witnesses, including the one who came to get you.
I don't like it. But it makes sense. Fine. It's a longshoreman from the docks. You'll find him in the warehouses. I hope you're able to remain civil when you talk to him. Otherwise, I'll find out, and it would only add to the charges.
We've got to flush that rat out of the warehouse where he's hiding.
Show them what we're made of!
You can't come in here. Move along.
Yes? Do you...
See you later.
Of course.
what we're made of! What we're made of!
What are you doing here? You are not allowed in the warehouses. You better leave if you don't want me to call the guard.
We've come to see you because we know you have to testify against us. The head guard told us where to find you.
Yeah? So what? What do you want?
You lied when you told the guard that we attacked the Alliance men. I'm betting you were paid. Since that's all you're interested in, why not take this money and disappear for a while?
Well, I didn't really like the whole mess anyway. A little time away from the warehouses won't do me any harm. I'll get my things and you'll never hear from me again.
If it weren't for this Viper's lies, we'd be certain to get justice.
You can't come in here. Move along.
Welcome to the Fishing Mermaid. What'll it be?
Thank you.
Come.
I'm happy to see you're back. When I heard there'd been a
It was us. They look...
I'm fair. Is...
What can you tell us about this?
I must admit that knowing she was here gave me reason for concern. Apparently, it was that idea worried me. Recently, a group has... They argue for Tyneers. They're violent. This will... Whether or...
Do you know where this...
Since she's part of an official delegation, however... Oh, I don't...
See, according to Sofia, the innkeeper could help us get into the diplomat's house.
Welcome to the Fishing Mermaid. What'll it be?
Is it possible to order food from you to be delivered?
We sometimes deliver meals to certain homes, in particular to Overseas House when they're entertaining. But we don't do individual deliveries, if that's what you're asking about. Those deliveries are enough of a pain. With the repairs to the wall, my cart can barely get through.
We could deliver the meals for you today, so you wouldn't have to bother with this cart.
But why would you do that? Ah, you want to play a joke on the emissary, don't you? I know she's not very nice, but my tavern's reputation is at stake. Sorry, I can't risk it. Would you like anything else?
You mentioned the works that are interfering with your deliveries. What are they repairing there?
Oh, the wall around Overseas House was starting to crumble and it looked bad. Since that's where the continent's most eminent people stay, well, it had to be fixed. It makes our island look bad, you know? But still, even if it had to be done, I wish they'd have done it at another time, not when I had to deliver food to a guest. Would you like anything else? I have a delicious cider right now.
Thank you. Good boy.
Come back.
Are you lost?
In preparation for Captain Alvida's trial, the Alliance's envoy summoned us here.
Oh, really? I wasn't told about that. And the envoy isn't here. You should come back later.
It's very important. Captain Alvida is counting on us to clear her name. Can we come inside and wait for her?
If it's to help the captain, then yes. Come in. But wait in the hallway.
These are the emissary's notes. They were used to prepare for a trial. The identity and location of the witness we met are in here. There's a report here that the emissary hasn't yet sent, as well as a few letters. I should take the time to read them carefully. The emissary mentioned some business she had someplace inland. We should try to find out precisely where. This is some sort of contract between the emissary and Duarte, the false witness. It's all very clear. She paid him to alert the head guard and to tell him he'd seen us attacking the others. There's even a bonus fee for going to trial. There's also a note, undoubtedly for a future report. It explains the entire plan. I should read it in more detail. This could turn the tables at the trial.
There you are. Any news? Preparations are underway on my side, but without your help, I'll have trouble defending you.
I don't know anything about your justice system. What will happen during the trial?
Everything takes place in the Admiral's Council. The prosecution, represented by the Alliance's emissary, will present their evidence and their witnesses. We'll be able to cross-examine them, of course, and I'll follow your instructions. Then we'll present our own evidence and witnesses, so all you have to do is tell me who to call and what to present. The witnesses and evidence will be cross-examined by the emissary, who will do everything in her power to find weaknesses in them. Finally, the Council will present its decision, which will hopefully be in our favor.
We think we're ready for the trial.
I think we have more than enough to clear you. Remember to give me all the documents I'll need to show, as well as the names of the witnesses, and we can go. Don't forget that during the trial, it will be up to you to tell me who to call and what to share.
Defendants, take your seats. The trial is about to begin. We are gathered here before Admirals Cabral and Barcelos. I shall be representing the inhabitants of this island. Our aim is to clarify the events that took place in front of the Ink Mistress's workshop, which led to the deaths of several of the Bridge Alliance emissaries' escorts. The emissary will represent the prosecution. Is the emissary here and ready to present her arguments?
I am. And I will prove, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that these savages murdered my escort and brought chaos to this island.
The defendants are Captain Alvida and the group of foreigners who are her guests. They are represented by the master of the shipyard.
We are also ready.
Very well. The prosecution has the floor.
Your honors, Noughts, I come here to seek justice for the lives of my men who were murdered on your streets. And I will prove to you that these savages are the killers.
Please explain how your men ended up in this part of town, when they were supposed to be part of your escort.
I'd given them the afternoon off, so I assume they were sightseeing. That's when they were attacked by these islanders and their companions.
Why would they do that?
Because they're savages. Ever since my people first set foot on Tir Fridi, we witnessed nothing but savagery. They constantly reject any form of progress. They kill people, massacre them if need be, and then pass themselves off as victims. They lure far more sophisticated people into their nets and make them pay for their crimes. Which explains why these eminent representatives of other peoples from the continent, as well as Captain Alvida, are here.
This whole speech sounds like an indictment, but you haven't provided any evidence.
This is true. Do you have any evidence or witnesses to call?
I do. I call Longshoreman Duarte to the stand.
Well, where is your witness, emissary?
I don't have the slightest idea.
You're wasting our time, emissary. Do you have any other witnesses?
I'll call the head guard.
The head guard didn't show up until after the fight.
Don't worry. We can cross-examine him if you wish.
Very well. Can you tell us what you witnessed that day?
We were on patrol in the neighborhood, and a longshoreman came to tell us that some savages had attacked a group of Alliance foreigners. We got there as quickly as we could, but by the time we arrived, the savages were putting away their weapons and the others were lying dead on the ground.
Is there any way they could have just been passing by and had drawn their weapons to assist my men?
No, they were covered in the men's blood, and we saw them finish off the last one as we approached. I'm sorry. I wish we'd gotten there sooner. We could have saved your men.
You did your duty. What could you have possibly done in the face of such savagery? What happened next?
We wanted to arrest them, but the master of the shipyard intervened and reminded us that we could only arrest the captain.
A law that's difficult to swallow when it's obvious that the ones it benefits are the true culprits, and the innocent must shoulder the burden of their crimes.
In the context of this court, you will abstain from criticizing our laws, emissary.
Of course, forgive me. I have no further questions for this witness.
Does the defense wish to question the witness?
Ask him if he can confirm who started the attack.
According to your own testimony, you did not witness the attack, yet you arrested the captain.
Well, those men have been killed, and it was obvious that the captain and our friends were responsible for their deaths.
Really? Would the scene you discovered have been different if these people were the victims of a vicious attack and were only defending themselves?
I suppose the scene would have been the same, yes. But the longshoreman?
Since the longshoreman isn't here, what he told you can't be trusted. What was the first thing the defendants said to you when you tried to arrest them?
They were only defending themselves.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Now that the prosecution has presented its evidence and witnesses, it's time for the defense to present its case.
It's our turn now. What would you like us to present first? I call the Ink Mistress to the stand. Can you tell us what happened during the attack in front of your workshop?
I was inside my workshop at the time of the attack, and unfortunately, I didn't see the fight.
That's a very useful testimony.
The prosecution will refrain from commenting until the floor is opened. Continue, Mistress.
I didn't see anything, but I did hear what happened. I clearly heard someone shouting something before the fighting started.
Can you tell us what was shouted?
Not entirely, but I distinctly heard the words savage and traitor.
It was a native who was shouting as he threw himself at my men.
No, I didn't recognize the voice. It wasn't any of the defendants. It was a different voice. What's more, I'd like to add that the defendants were thoughtful, not the savages they've been made out to be.
Thank you, Mistress. It seems clear that the attack was preceded by insults that were proffered by the emissary's men. This contradicts her version of the events.
I don't believe a word of it.
Madam, we have tolerated your repeated interruptions, despite our requests to respect the protocol. But we will not tolerate you questioning the word of an eminent figure on our island. Does the prosecution have any questions for this witness?
No, I have no questions for the venerable mistress.
Would you like to call Silvio the carpenter to testify?
I'm not sure that's a good idea, but I'll let you decide.
I don't know this island well enough. So, I'll take Alvida's advice. We'd better not call him to the stand.
Although his testimony is the most complete, I agree with you.
Does the defense have any other witnesses to call?
I was thinking of calling Alvida to the stand. You were all witnesses, but her word carries more weight here than yours. What do you think?
Call Alvida. She can testify for us all.
I'm more than willing to answer your questions, and those of this snake.
I call the defendant, Captain Alvida, to the stand. Can you introduce yourself and tell us what happened that day, in your own words?
My name is Captain Alvida. I had just received my new ink when it happened.
Can you remind the court of what you did to earn this new rank?
I sailed from the coast of Tynea to Yuxantis in a fisherman's skiff.
A true feat. Please continue.
We'd barely set foot outside the Ink Mistress's shop when a group of Alliance men approached. One of them shouted at us that we were savages and traitors to our people, and that they were going to show us our true place. Then they attacked us. Fortunately, we were able to defeat them. It was only then that the head guard arrived. He wanted to arrest everyone, and you stopped him. So I was the only one who was taken to jail, since my friends here were my guests.
Thank you, Captain. I have no further questions.
Does the prosecution have any questions for this witness?
Of course. Captain, are you sure your savage friend here didn't attack my men before you had time to see it? You wouldn't be the first person to trust in these animals and be betrayed by them.
I'm absolutely certain that the events took place just as I described them. And please don't compare my friend to an animal.
Then how do you explain that a Naut longshoreman alerted the head guard and pointed you out as the attackers?
The only explanation is that he was lying.
And who's to say you're not the one who's lying? Your hands are red with the blood of my men.
Emissary, please control yourself. If you show disrespect to the witness again, we will put an end to this trial immediately.
Please, forgive me. I have no further questions.
Master, we have no further witnesses.
We shall now proceed to show our evidence.
We would now like to present some evidence that has come to light in the course of our investigation.
Evidence? Evidence of what?
Emissary, the defense has the floor. Please allow the master of the shipyard to present his case.
I have here a document signed by this very emissary. which mentions an agreement with a certain Duarte, who works as a longshoreman. The document states that this man is to alert the head guard that an attack is taking place against the Alliance's men. It also states that he will have to testify before this court and specifically identify the natives from Tir Fredi as being behind the attack. The reward for this service is a very substantial sum of money.
It must be a forgery. A forgery created by the defendants to escape a fair punishment.
As our master librarian is a handwriting specialist, I suggest that he examine this contract and give us his expert opinion on the matter.
I will look into this during the deliberations. Have you found any other evidence?
We would like to present this report, which was found in a hideout, where this very emissary was participating in suspicious activities.
How dare you? What kind of scandalous accusation is that?
Explain yourself, Master of the Shipyard. It is highly unusual to describe the person representing the prosecution in this manner.
How else can I describe the activities that required the emissary to travel to an obscure cabin in the inland territory? Not to mention the fact that this report describes these activities in great detail.
Lies, lies, and more lies. An outrageous forgery.
Let the defense continue.
The emissary and her men were obviously making deals with some of our more law-averse Nauts to smuggle contraband.
For shame. Master, I'm counting on you to give us these documents so that we can find the culprits.
Yes. We won't let a few bad apples spoil the guild's reputation.
And just how did you find this obviously forged report?
You may ask your questions when the defense has finished. Carry on, Master of the Shipyard.
In addition to the highly instructive explanations of their smuggling activities, these documents also include a very important element that is of interest in these proceedings. The attack is clearly planned out in detail. The head guard was to be alerted as soon as it took place. If the Alliance men were able to kill the natives, the captain and her companions, then the testimony of the longshoreman and the head guard was to have cleared them of any suspicion. If not, well, we've all seen how the rest of the plan was to play out.
Nonsense! This is unacceptable!
Why would the emissary have planned such a dire scheme that would surely put the lives of her men at risk?
The report is very clear on this point. The aim was to decidedly tarnish the natives' reputation in our eyes. Some are starting to raise their voices here against what's happening in Tir Fredi, especially concerning the deportation of the natives. If we all thought the natives were savages and beasts, we'd have fewer scruples about dealing with them. Wouldn't we?
That's exactly what they are!
That's
Animals.
enough, ma'am! How dare you!
We will study this report carefully. And if it proves to be true, you'll be the one to answer for it.
Master, do you have any further evidence to submit?
No. We have nothing further to present to the court.
We have nothing more to add.
The defense has presented all of its evidence and will now defer to the council's judgment.
In that case, we will now take leave to deliberate.
Can't I plead my case?
If you were hoping to make a case for your ideas, you should know that's not how things work around here. The witnesses and the evidence are presented, and anyone can examine and refute them, but the final decision is the council's. We'll return once a unanimous decision has been made. The council has come to a decision, and I'll let Admiral Cabral announce the verdict.
Given the evidence that was presented, we have come to the conclusion that the defendants are innocent.
This is a travesty!
Silence. We don't have enough evidence to prove your responsibility in this tragic affair. However, We shall keep a close eye on you from now on, so you'll have a Nort escort with you at all times. I advise you to finish your business here quickly and return to Tynea as soon as possible. And don't even think about troubling our exonerated guests again.
The council has ruled, and the court is adjourned.
You're free, and may do as you please until you're ready to board your ship, Captain. Despite the trial, I've had the shipyard working on it, and it'll be ready to sail with the tide tomorrow.
Captain, I know what you think of me, what everyone thinks of me. But could I have a word with you?
What is it?
I hear you're looking for your mother's logbook. I know where it is.
Is that so? How could you possibly know that?
I'll tell you when the time comes. But I'm gonna need your help before I can tell you what I know.
My help? You dare to ask for my help after what you did?
I have no other choice. Think it over, and if you're interested, come and see me at my workshop.
Thank you. Thank you for getting me out of there. I'm sorry that even here, you've once again been victim to the Alliance's evil schemes. But I'll get you home. I swore I would do it, and I shall. Tomorrow we'll have a ship. And even if I can't take you to Tyr Fridee straight away, it's a first step.
Why do we not leave now? You say you want to take us home, but in the next breath, you tell us we have to wait.
Because this kind of expedition is incredibly expensive. Sailing to Tyr Fridee takes months and costs a fortune. You're going to need a protector. A patron. But don't look at me. I don't have a coin to my name. My family does, though.
I know someone who wants to go home, too.
Not in the least. I'm very happy to be here with you. You're far less dangerous than my uncle.
We can choose our destination once we're aboard the ship. In the meantime, we can take a break at the tavern or go for a walk. Anything you like.
As long as there are no bars on the windows.
Alvida left for the port at dawn. She couldn't wait to set foot aboard her new ship. Are we going to meet her?
There you are. I'm happy to see you out of that courtroom and cleared of those ridiculous accusations. Captain Alvida has already returned to her ship and is busy preparing for your journey. When you're ready, just say the word and we'll take you aboard too.
We're ready.
In that case, climb into this boat and it will take you aboard. Godspeed.